ended up seeing the series called Quiet on the Set, which basically is the traumatic experience of Nickelodeon actors telling us how what everything isn't what it seems behind the camera. Because when you see Nickelodeon, you think, oh, they're having fun, but in reality, they're not. So I'm not gonna go into that much detail of all the episodes, which all the episodes are really about people's experience, and I'm mostly gonna be talking about two episodes in particular, number 2 and episode 4. And these two episodes, oh my god, I never felt so just disgusted, heartbroken, and full on just enraged after seeing these two episodes. So let's just get started with the episode 2. Yes, there were actually 3 pedophiles. Episode 2 in the Nickelodeon set starts off with I'm not gonna say who they are because I want you guys to see the series. So one of the pedophiles, right, actually was he was one of the worst ones there. He used the manipulation tactic where he basically just ended up, being everyone's friend, not having any trouble with anyone, just a good old pal to everyone on the set, and a good old pal to the parents also. That form of manipulation granted him basically. He was basically just the guy who didn't think that could do any wrong, which normally is the person that does the worst of the worst. So in this episode, he invites all the kids to a barbecue at his house, and throughout his house is decorated with, stuff that you would see at a kid's room. Basically, just he decorates his house basically like a kid. He has comic books. He has different action figures and everything like that. But one thing in particular that really messed me up was the fact that he had a picture of a clown. Not any clown, but a clown holding balloons. And mind you, while he first said that, the very first thing that popped up into my head was the serial killer clown. And guess what? It was him. It was the serial killer clown that gave him that picture to the pedophile. And not only did he just give it to him, he autographed it like it was some trophy, something you should be proud of owning. But that's not the worst thing. The pedophile actually has notes written about the clown. They were good friends apparently. And bro, when I first heard that, oh my god, bro, I didn't think that episode could have gone worse, but it did. It just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. Who took advantage of one of the kids on set, and everyone just was puzzled because they didn't expect the guy to be known as the sexual. They didn't expect him to be that sort of person. So everyone was wondering, who it was. Who is it, man? Who is it? Well, that's when a certain individual comes into frame. And this man, it hurts me to even say this person's name. This man's name, who got abused, was none other than Drake Bell. Yes, Drake Bell. Drake from Drake and Josh. It's really sad because you don't really know, like, it was, you see him and you think, oh, nothing really would have happened to him. But the worst of the worst, as he described it, happened to him. And watching this episode, bruh, I'm not gonna lie, I freaking broke down. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little context on it. So Drake's dream was basically to become an actor, and his father, supported his decision to be an actor. So, not knowing the actor, the actor world, they basically just winged it, and Drake ended up being on Nickelodeon, different shows, different movies, and everything like that. And that pedophile was becoming really close to Drake, like really close. Talking about like uncomfortably close, but so his dad caught on to the act and basically wanted the pedophile to not be close to Drake, which is really understandable. Like, really understandable. But he ended up speaking to the directors and everyone. But the pedophile, because he was known as a good helper, but the pedophile was known as the good guy, and so everyone took his side and basically blamed the dad and called him, homophobic because the pedophile was gay. And doesn't matter what sexual preference you have, if something doesn't look right, it doesn't look right. So what ended up happening was Drake's father basically couldn't be on Drake's side anymore and gave Drake to her mom. And of course the pedophile basically manipulated her mom, and Drake spent most of his life in the pedophile's house. And I'm not gonna go into the description what happens, because at this point I felt like throwing up, honestly. And just looking at Drake's breakdown, it hurt. It hurt, man. It hurt to see someone that I used to see as a kid just did wrong, man. So what ended up happening was Drake stayed with. So what ended up happening was that Drake stayed at his girlfriend's place. Her mom noticed immediately what was happening, because why would old man be contacting a young boy constantly, and so they went to therapy. Drake basically broke everything down, and the pedophile was caught. But the most hard scene to watch was when Drake called his dad and basically gave him the news that the pedophile was caught. And the words that his dad said was so heartbroken. Just what he said was, "I'm glad that he didn't get to you." And not knowing that his son was taken advantage of, that scene freaking broke me, dog. That scene broke me to the point where I was just like, I didn't even want to freaking finish the episode. But guess what happens when they went to trial? Guess what happened? So you have two sides, right? You have Drake's side, which is basically Drake's mom, his brother, and Drake. And the pedophile, right? Who was going to support the pedophile, right? Apparently, a lot of people did. Because it was just full of just people from the show, directors, freaking actors, and everything like that. They wrote letters to have him to. They wrote letters for the judge to have him have a less sentence. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? So a little part that I didn't address was that he got rehired, but in a different company. And guess what company they hired him in? Disney. You telling me Disney hired a pedophile? And now, mind you, it's one thing to not know, before hiring a person. But they knew the controversial things that this man has. They knew that he was a sex offender. And they put him on another child's program called The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Thank you for running that show for me. Now I can't look at that show ever again. As we heard on the internet, Drake basically texted a minor. And so, we didn't have the full details and everything like that. But here's the thing. I believe that people can have second chances in life. Obviously, Drake, what he's been through, his head is not in the right space. But the thing is that with Drake, he owns it. He went in to get help. And I'm not excusing that what he did was not wrong, which is very wrong. But at least he owned up to it and he's getting help. And I believe that he deserves a second chance. Say what you want about him. But if he's willing to change and get help, that's someone that deserves a second chance. And apparently he can still considers Dan Schneider a friend. Yeah, go watch the documentary. It's very good. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day. Thank you.